Language acquisition through digital games. The purpose of this study was to investigate the question, do educational video games focusing on language provide a better learning experience than traditional language education? As a student, I was taught languages using only traditional pen and paper methods, and while those did work well for me, they were boring and at times difficult to remember. I want to explore the potential benefits that language learning games could have on student learning and retention. This topic has been researched several times in recent years. In order to provide a foundation for my own research, I conducted a literature review of 5 sources. Anne Stieg found that a game including role-playing and narrative elements to teach language was more enjoyable to the user and also performed within 10% of the efficiency of traditional vocabulary exercises. Lau and Chen exposed low-motivated Taiwanese students to vocabulary games and found that these games facilitated lexical growth and retention. A third study found that inference-based games, when compared to hard copy books, resulted in students learning a significant amount more vocabulary. Taheri found that a game-based teaching method had greater results in delayed time tests than in immediate ones. Young and Wang found that learners who learned only with games performed better in the area of pronunciation, but those who used only drills were better able to retain their learning. This previous research shows mixed results as to the usefulness of game-based language learning, with some studies finding that it increases students' learning and others finding that it makes little to no difference. I gathered data safely and ethically from both experts in the field and my classmates and friends. All participants were informed that I have received an ethics certification from the Government of Canada and understood that their participation was voluntary and anonymous. Most of my research was gathered from an online survey created in Google Forms. I also conducted email interviews with 2 experts in the field, asking them about the advantages and disadvantages of using game-based technology as a language teaching tool. I used Google spreadsheets to analyze my data and create my charts and graphs. My research focused on answering the question, do educational video games focusing on language provide a better learning experience than traditional language education? The first question of my survey asked which part the participant plays in the education process. Most of my participants were students. Participants were also asked about the effectivity of these games on learning, both their own and that of their students. Most of the results from those surveyed showed that digital games did effectively help them to learn a language. Almost all surveyed indicated that game-based learning was more enjoyable for both them and their students than traditional pen and paper methods. This data suggests that using games for language acquisition does provide a better learning experience in terms of student enjoyment than traditional education methods do. The first expert that I interviewed through email is a professor at Mount Royal University. Rosenj suggested using digital technology to create realistic situations on which to practice language, but also cautioned against several disadvantages to this technology. Her cautions included possible addictions to technology and the dangers that come with online interactions, such as cyberbullying. The second expert that I consulted is a teacher at Bearspaw Christian School. Lang cited several advantages, including engagement, independence, and allowing students to personalize their learning needs. Disadvantages include a loss of personal interaction and that it is easy for students to become distracted when using technology. In both interviews, the experts expressed that while there are advantages to using digital gaming technology for learning, there are also disadvantages. The results of this study have shown mixed results as to the effectivity of digital games to teach language. While many sources reveal that these games do indeed provide a better learning experience than traditional education methods, many disadvantages have also come to light. From an analysis of the information that I have collected, I believe that using digital games can help students to have a more fun and productive language learning experience. In my future teaching, I will likely use game-based learning as an addition to traditional pen and paper methods to teach language acquisition. Future research in this area should be directed towards understanding which parts of language game-based learning is most effective for.